Just as is the case with a good red wine, it's worth waiting for. And this year's Elan Gold Cup certainly was a case in point. The week before would have been an absolute deluge, a massacre, unpleasant for everyone, horses, jockeys, trainers, and the public at large. And everybody made a really special effort to make sure that none of the glitz or glamour or exhilaration and passion that is so much part of our beautiful sport was lost. They were looking forward to seeing some Equus Award winners, and there were plenty of them on show. Not least of all, the ones that were locked and loaded before the meeting started. Trainers like Sean Terry, jockeys like Gavin Lerena, horses like possibly Futura. But he did have one score to settle, mostly with his stable companion. But let's go back to the juvenile races first of all, because these are the rising stars of the future. This is a son of brave tin soldier. His name is Rabada, and he's trained by Michael Azzi, owned by Marcus and Ingrid Jooster, and he certainly has put his hand up for an Equus Award. Mickey Goss looking absolutely delighted that all the faith in the son of Stormcat has at last come to fruition. And talking about Stormcat, Magog's son Wild One was a warm favourite until the very last minute for the Elan Gold Cup. We had an opportunity to speak to the racing and marketing executive of Gold Circle, the one and only Graeme Hawkins.
Yeah, not an easy decision to make when you're trying to make the call in time so as to avoid Joburg horses travelling for nothing, food being cooked for nothing in all of the marquees, etc. But I put my faith in the AccuWeather weather forecast, and they were spot on. It would have been impossible to race last week, and what a day today. It's a wonderful way to end Champion Season 2015. We've been praying for the rain to come, and it came, and we look forward to a lot more rain so that the province can avoid water restrictions and all of those sort of other things. But it's just been a fantastic day weather-wise, and a wonderful way to bring the curtain down on Champion Season 2015.
I don't want to dissect every single race, but it's really nice to see the emergence of a horse that's been very highly thought of, a stallion that's so well bred that Mickey's talked very highly about. To see Anton Marcus come down the inside and Rabada was very, very warmly received by the public here today.
Well, let's first touch on the track because we narrowed the false rail to 2 meters, and we showed today that you can win anywhere down the straight. Most of the races have been won down the inside. We saw Wild One and Savage Wind fight it out down the inside with Balance Sheet just outside of them. We saw Rabada win down the inside. We've seen Futura and Ice Machine go head-to-head in the Champions Cup down the inside. And we saw, in fact, the Gold Bracelet. Acrostar finished hard up against the outside, running on well, but the winner was down the inside. And we've always said you can win anywhere. And it shouldn't be so that because a rail is 4 meters out, as it was in Vodacom Durban July Day, that there should be that amount of scrimmaging. The jockeys must use the full track. Having said that, I think the experiment today to put the rail out 2 meters has worked well, and that's probably where it'll be on Vodacom Durban July Day next year, to give everybody a fair chance of using the whole track. But yes, as you say, Rabada, very exciting young horse. I was very impressed with him at the Ready to Run Gallops last year. I don't mind admitting, with some pride, that he was in my top 3 at the Gallops, and so I followed his career with some degree of interest, obviously. And for Mickey, for a brave tin soldier to come through and win a Group 1, he's such a good-looking horse, as is the stable companion who ran third today. And I think that Michael Azzi's fortunate that he's going to have 2 really good 3-year-olds on his hands.
And I think let's not forget the second horse, because he had a deep draw to overcome, and there's clearly a lot more in the tank for him.
Well, I think Dominic Zaki must really be feeling a little frustrated. You know, he had Arabian Beat from a wide draw run second to 7th plane when it looked as if he was going to hang on to victory, and then from a deep draw again today to come with a horse that's run, you know, twice in Johannesburg and twice in Durban in the last couple of months. For that horse to run so well is testimony to Dominic Zaki's skill. So he must feel very frustrated having run second in the 2 Group 1s here for 2-year-old colts on Vodacom Durban July Day and today. But his turn will no doubt come.
They say in horse racing the fabric of the business runs deep, and even though Sean Terry and Gavin Lerena haven't exactly had red letter days, they've had red letter years. Great to have them here, great to have Stan Ellie in his last meeting of his professional training career here, and just so many other beautiful things about horse racing today that transpired.
Well, you know, racing is about the horse, obviously, takes centre stage, but it's also about the characters, it's about the people. It's where you mesh the thoroughbred and the people together. And we must never forget that there are some wonderful people in the sport who have served the sport so well, and Stan Ellie certainly fits that bill. We're going to miss him as a trainer. Fortunately, as we all know, he's not going to be lost to the racing industry. He's a fantastic presenter and he's a character down in Cape Town. Sean Terry, Gavin Arena, for them it's been a below par day, but that's the way the game goes. In fact, I just chirped Gavin Arena. I said, gee whiz, boy, in the defence of your title, you're lagging a little off the early pace. And he just laughed. He's a great guy, and he deserved his championship. He's worked really hard at it. Sean Terry deserved to break the ice as the new South African champion trainer. And in general terms, I've had a wonderful time here. But, you know, champion season is about, you got to take your chances and take your gaps and your opportunities. For Dennis Dreyer, it's also been a fantastic season, and so many have done so well through champion season. So it's been great to have the best from the Western Cape, the best from the Highveld, and the best from KwaZulu-Natal going head to head. And you know, we are so blessed here in KwaZulu-Natal to have such a knowledgeable fan base. They love their racing. They know what it's all about. They enjoy the sport as much as they do their betting. And that's a very fortunate position to be in here in KwaZulu-Natal.
And I think above all else, when you take a look at the time frame from the time that you announced the horses that are eligible to participate in the Vodacom Durban July to now, it feels like a heartbeat, but it's been a season full of incredible performances.
Yeah, well, I was just saying to Babette last night, I said, can you believe it feels like just yesterday that we had our season launched and announced the first entries. This past 3.5 months or so since the launch, the official launch of the season, have flown by. But I guess that's, you know, time flies when you're having fun. So we've had a lot of fun, and we must never lose the fun aspect of this game. It is a sport. It is a big business. You know, there's a lot hanging on a photo finish in terms of value and payouts and so on. Whether you're a breeder or an owner or a punter, so much can be determined by a short head. But you've got to have fun doing it. And I think this season, and I've chatted to a few of our punters on course, I've spent most of today just mingling with the crowd downstairs, where I also used to enjoy my racing and still do today. And one and all, they've said this has been a fantastic day. Great decision to move the race meeting. We've had fun under the sun, but what a season. We've had a lot of fun throughout the season as well.
To put the lid on it, Graham, the words of Justin Snaith and Dean Caname and even Sean Terry ring very clear in my ears about the move from Clarewood to Summerveld. They've been nothing but full of praise for the way in which the facility has handled all the extra traffic, and the results are there for all to see.
Well, I think Summerveld has come through its test under the guidance of Tony Riverland. He's done a marvellous job there. It's not easy to put all those guys into a cauldron and come out with a result, but he's done that. And Summerveld was described by the guys who came out from Newmarket, England, when we were deciding where to position the polytrack. They couldn't believe what they were seeing. It was their first visit, William Gettis, and he said this is horses heaven on earth. And that's what Summerveld is. And it's been, I think the guys have adapted. Nobody likes change, but we all like progress, and I'd like to believe we've made progress. We haven't quite got all of the facilities where we want them to be. Greyville is much improved as a facility, and I'm talking about generally all the facilities, but we've still got work to do, and the same at Summerveld. We've still got work to do. And the Ashburton guys, you know, they've had their fair share of winners as well, and I must say, Greyville Racecourse today, for all that has been said about the turf track, has never been as good as this at this time of the year. The tyres have done a wonderful job, as has the track man at Stembiso at Scottsville. So we've been blessed with great tracks. Yes, we are using them sparingly because we have to, but that's just simply good management. So I'm very proud of the way the track was turned out on this, the very final meeting of champion season. The Greyville track will now be scarified, and soon after that the Scottsville track, and we'll be back. We're already starting to plan for champion season 2016.
The Equus Awards, you've been on the panel. It's a terribly difficult situation this year with this meeting being run as the first of the next season. Some decisions will be included in the decision-making power, the stats won't. It must have been a terribly difficult decision for these men to make.
Yeah, well, I think, unfortunately, the NHA rules do not provide for you to have any sort of discretion in determining when the end of the season. The end of the season is the 31st of July. Fortunately, as an awards panel, in terms of the subjective awards, we do have that sort of discretion, and I think it's the common sense thing to do, to count all of these awards in the 2014-15 season, the performances today. And we've seen, as you said, great performances from Futura and Ice Machine, below par from Legislate, but unfortunately didn't pull up well. Pretty much the same sort of injury as he had after the Vodacom Durban July last year, so he'll be back. We saw great performance from Rabada. It's interesting, him and Seventh Plane, same ownership, two top quality 2-year-old colts. We saw a wonderful performance from Wild One. One can only wonder if he had been completely sound throughout of his career, just how good Wild One might have been. And it's a bit of an irony, all of that hullabaloo 2 years ago when Mike de Kock's runner didn't get into the Vodacom Durban July Rock Cocktail. It was Wild One that kept him out. And now Mike de Kock trains Wild One and has just won the Group 1 Elan Property Gold Cup. It's a wonderful game. This is full of wonderful stories.